Someone is eating out my neighbors. I never thought I'd be in bed sleeping with him. I know how it sounds, but there's just no gentler way to put it. I first noticed it last Tuesday morning, when I looked out the window and saw that Luis, the old man in the apartment across the street, wasn't out on his balcony by 7 a.m. The apartment 2 stories above Luis had also gone dark. 2 kids lived there, and they were always up to something, sticking their drawings to the window or jumping on the beds. Now, however, there was nothing but blackness in their rooms, and an ominous breeze seemed to blow through their white curtains. Even when it rained on Wednesday and Thursday, no one bothered to close the windows. Worse still, when I rang Luis to check on him, there was no answer. I saw that his mailbox was stuffed full of mail and newspapers. Even so, I didn't really start to worry until the noise upstairs came to a sudden stop. The 20-something couple in that unit had a very active lifestyle, getting up early, working out in the middle of the day, and hosting parties late into the night. From the sound of it, they also had a very healthy relationship. Lately, however, there's been nothing but silence. Millions of people live in this city, all strangers to one another. And if one person, or even an entire family went missing, how long would it take anyone to notice? If several went missing all at once, how long would it take the underfunded, overworked authorities to recognize a pattern? Weeks? Months? Even longer? Uncounted hours later, I woke up in the pitch blackness of my sealed-up apartment. My home was as dark as the dream I'd been having, another nightmare of dusty insulation and tangled pipes. A pounding sound was coming from somewhere inside my apartment. 3 methodical taps, one after the other. It was no random noise. Something was trying to get in. I grabbed my flashlight, but its batteries must have died after my excursion into Amy's unit. Lost in my own apartment and unable to find a light switch, I bounced off of furniture that seemed to have moved during the night, until I finally glimpsed a glow up ahead. The hallway. That's where the pounding was coming from. Daylight blinded me as I flung open my front door. A slender Asian man in a black suit and tie stood before me. "Lucas Williams?" he asked. I nodded, shielding my eyes from the painful brightness. "I'm Agent Wei. I'm investigating some dangerous, unusual occurrences in your neighborhood, and I believe that you might be able to help me. Can I step inside?" In retrospect, I probably should have looked more closely at Agent Wei's badge. I should have asked him for a warrant or spoken to him outside. But at the time, I was so thrilled to find out that I wasn't crazy that I welcomed the young man with open arms. I flicked on the lights, embarrassed by the boarded-up, chaotic mess of my apartment. Agent Wei, however, seemed to take it in stride. "As I'm sure you've noticed, Lucas, there have been a number of disappearances in this area." I nodded vigorously. "As part of our investigation, we're asking the residents of buildings on these streets to permit us to temporarily install motion-activated cameras in their apartment. These cameras will alert us to the presence of any intruder in your unit and allow us to respond immediately." I frowned. This was unexpected. I wanted to help, but still, cameras? Watching me all the time? Of course, in the end, I agreed. With his slick black suit and sidearm, Agent Wei seemed trustworthy, and besides, what choice did I have, if I wanted my life to go back to normal? After Agent Wei installed his camera and left, however, I found something. Something I would have mentioned to him if I had noticed it sooner. The plywood I had used to cover the ventilation shaft lay on the floor. It had fallen, or been pushed, out of place. Although I should have known better, I replaced the batteries in my flashlight, mounted a stool, and stuck my head into the ventilation shaft. The dark, narrow space was about the size of my head, and it was difficult to look around. At first, I saw nothing but dust. But then I caught sight of the man-sized trail of slime that slithered off into the darkness. Shuddering, I replaced the plywood, and doubled the amount of nails that I hammered into it. For 3 days, I heard nothing from Agent Wei. As far as I could tell, there were no new disappearances, either. But on the 3rd morning, I woke once again to urgent pounding on my door. I was in such a hurry to answer it that I didn't notice that the plywood covering the vent had once again fallen to the floor. "Lucas Williams?" Agent Wei asked again, as if to confirm that I was really me. "We've discovered something you need to see. May we come in?" This time, Agent Wei wasn't alone. 2 more men in black suits were behind him. A dark, spindly man he called Agent Jalida, and a stocky, nervous woman who went by Agent Lopez. Agent Wei seemed much more on edge than he had during his last visit. The others swept my apartment as we spoke. I started to protest, but then I remembered that the agents had already seen every corner of it anyway, via their cameras. "I'm going to ask you to take a survey for me, Lucas." Agent Wei sat me down at my work desk with a paper and pen. "It's very important that you answer all of the questions honestly. Can you do that for me, Lucas?" I had no idea what was going on, but I nodded. After all, what was the harm in answering a few questions? While I was busy filling in bubbles and ticking boxes, Agents Jalida and Lopez scanned my walls with strange instruments, collected samples, and set up a laptop on my kitchen table. Although I strained my ears to their limit, I wasn't able to eavesdrop on the hushed conversation between them. Besides, I was struggling with some of the questions. As I answered them, an unsettling pattern seemed to emerge, but I couldn't put my finger on exactly what it was. "How long have you lived in this unit? When was the last time you ate? What is your earliest memory? Where is the last place you slept? Are you sure you want to do it here?" Agent Lopez was hissing to Agent Wei. It was all I heard of their conversation before Agent Wei motioned for me to sit in front of the laptop that was open in front of the kitchen table. He nodded through the answers to my survey questions, as though they confirmed something he'd long suspected. As he prepared a video to play on the screen, I was uncomfortably aware of the aggressive presence of Agents Jalida and Lopez behind me. Out of the corner of my eye, I could see that their hands rested on their weapons. I'm going to show you a video now, Lucas, Agent Way explained, and I warn you, what you're about to see may disturb you. Please, try to remain calm. I didn't understand what I had to be disturbed about. After all, the image on the screen was me. It was a night vision recording of my bedroom, captured by the cameras Agent Way had installed. He fast-forwarded through several hours of me sleeping, tossing and turning in bed, and then, in the recording, I watched my left leg suddenly stuck out rigidly beneath the sheets. It seemed to extend somehow, followed by my right. My hands pawed at my bedroom wall as my arms and fingers stretched, almost doubling in length. I brought my hand to my mouth as I watched the me on the screen descend into something hideous and wrong, and slither across the floor toward the bathroom ventilation shaft. I was still processing the nightmarish video when Agent Way brought up another clip. This was grainier footage from a security camera. It showed Marie Puig's husband, Javier, walking through a dark alley on the far side of our building. As he passed a sewer grate, a horrifically distended hand that I now recognized as my own shot up with tremendous force and grabbed his leg, dragging him down. I'd seen enough. I retched all over the floor, but turned away from the puddle immediately, afraid of what, or who, I might see in it. We're aware that you're a special case, Agent Way was saying, from what felt like very far away, and we know that it's not your fault. For beings like you, this is part of a natural cycle that occurs every 30 years or so. We're going to get you the help you need, but there are crimes here that have to be answered for. Louise Dubois, Rachel Kellerson and her 2 children, Tom and Rocia, Javier Puig, M.E. Martin and several other. Wait. I held up a hand weakly. M.E. Martin. That can't be. I was in my apartment when she disappeared. I heard her. I fell silent as a groaning noise echoed through the pipes above us. Oh no. Agent Lopez drew her pistol. What? Agent Jailita responded. That means there are 2 of them. From the darkness of the ventilation shaft in my bathroom, a pair of glowing eyes stared out at me and grinned.